Assalamualaikum, namaskar, and I'm your host Shruti. I am very
Sorry.
I just realized that I did not tell you that when we started the interview that my name is also Shruti. So, yes. All right. Today I've got a fantastically talented, one of the most gorgeous, one of the most desirable women. They have, magazines have always described her that way. She is a bundle of talent, and she's got so many interesting things happening right now when it comes to music. We are here with the one and only Shruti Haasan.
Thank you so much for that amazing introduction, but I think you're biased because of the name.
Oh, that is also true. But I think I'm very glad that we share a name, and I think it's a very beautiful bond to have, even though, we're not related. But think...
isn't it weird, like, you're like super chill, but isn't it weird when you meet another Shruti and you're like, why do you have my name?
And also the spellings that come with it.
What is yours?
Mine is Shruthi.
Yeah, mine is
You
T-I.
has the T-I.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So we're here with the talented Shruti.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. We're going to talk a little bit about your new single, which is something that I've had the chance to, listen to a little bit, and the preview already is getting me very excited. But before we go into talking about that, the first question that I have for you is the international film circuit. Your film, I, doing really well. Lots of critical acclaim for that. How does it feel?
I mean, I'm so proud of our director, Daphne, and our writer and the producers. I mean, Emily, our writer, the producers, Mel, and so it's some very special women that got together to tell the story of a woman, and it doesn't feel like, how am I in the movie? What does this do for me? Like, I do feel like that sometimes about a movie, especially when a commercial setup, you're like, okay, what can I get out of this? Like, it's just human nature, but this feels like so wonderful and special, and the whole process has been so honest.
Right.
So I'm really happy to see it being celebrated. I'm really happy for our director, Daphne.
Absolutely. And I think when you say honest, I think that always shines through in your performances, whether it's films, whether it's the music that you make.
Yeah.
You've always been very vocal about that. And after your last two singles that did really well, and Edge, or whether it's She's a Hero, it had a very strong message to it. So today what I want to ask you about your upcoming single, Monster Machine. What is the reason behind this particular song?
I mean, you know what? I've just realized today I've explained it so much, which I shouldn't have done. Because I like to keep room for interpretation.
Right.
And I don't know if there's a message. So what message do you need? Like, that's why we listen to music, because we take what we need from it. But I do think it's about celebrating dark femininity.
Right.
And I feel like we've kind of, as women, been told strength looks this way, power looks this way, vulnerability looks this way, and darkness looks this way.
Right.
It's okay if it's Kali Mata. Do you know what I mean? Like, or Durga Ma. Like, that is okay. That's pre-approved by us.
Yeah. And
what about us who want bespoke love, bespoke anger, bespoke expression? So those women are often called monsters, and they're misunderstood, and they're called witches, and they're called other beautiful things. So that's what the song's really about.
And I think that's a very beautiful way of explaining it, especially during the Navratri season that we are celebrating now, the Shakti, right? The feminine side of it. We always embrace it, or we always look at it from different perspectives. And
it's always the divine feminine, not the dark feminine.
Yes.
But for me, the darkness is divine.
Absolutely. And I think that perception that people have, when they watch this song, because I've seen the visuals of it as well, right?
Yeah.
And I want to know a little bit about what was the thought process behind the visuals that you have created specifically for this, because we've already discussed that it's dealing with the dark femininity. So when it comes to that, can you tell us a little bit about the challenges? Because people expect you to be an actor, they expect you to do films, they expect you to do so much. So how does this sort of all play
this
in?
was a place where I could mix both, like, very naturally. So I think that was like the fun of this. And I wanted to tell a story that I didn't see in movies, or like have a chance to play. And the music works as screenplay and allows me to do that.
All right, fantastic. So we're really looking forward for the song releasing. It's coming out on the 26th, and everybody is going to be celebrating it once it's out. So personally,
fingers crossed. I mean,
no, we're very confident of that, given how massively successful the previous singles were for you. And when we're talking about Shruti today, you have metamorphosized from the actor that you debuted with a film like 3, and then you've had a lot of
Era Mariva.
yeah.
Yeah. Just
Oh, no, yeah. All right. So with that transition and the different roles that you play every single day, right? And we've seen you move from cities to countries and doing so many different things. So today, as Shruti Haasan, what is the role that you identify the most with? What do you feel very strongly about?
a woman who likes to explore. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That I think is the perfect way to explain where you are right now in your
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Also, something else that I wanted to ask about was you recently announced that you're doing a collaboration with Rajkamal Films. Is it something
And
that you
Jaji
can talk
Dearest.
about?
Not really, no, not really in detail, but I'm so excited. Music, our bond in music is very strong. I think, my mum introduced me to some of the best like rock and roll and like singer-songwriters, and she was like, introduced me to the Prodigy and stuff, and that was like really cool when I was growing up. It was so good to have all of this music at home. My dad loved Led Zeppelin, so music's always been there, but he's also an incredible singer, my dad, and an amazing writer. And so we have a lot of communication through music. So it's a song I've composed and he's actually written the lyrics for. Yeah, that much I can tell you. And it's produced by Rajkamal Films.
Fantastic. So we will find out more details about that a little later.
I wanted someone to sorry to interject. It's I can sing in Tamil, Malayalam, Hindi, Telugu. Okay, cool. But I'm only able to write in Tamil, in English. I can't write in Tamil.
Okay.
I mean, I can write my name and stuff, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not able to express lyrically. And the last time I wrote something in Tamil and it really clicked, me and my dad collaborated on Vanamallai because
Yeah.
he just gets it, or I get, no, I'm sorry, he just gets it, or I get it from him. I don't know.
It's a
'Cause
mutual,
yeah, it's just
that
easier.
creative, energy
And
that
to meet
flows
him,
through.
to like whatever, 20, 15 years later and do it again was like
Super.
so good.
All right. So, which also brings me to this question
Yeah.
that I have when you talk about collaboration with artists, right? And you've worked extensively with your dad, and you've been influenced heavily by some of the things that your dad has done. Your mum, and also Akshara is also one of the biggest influences. So, when we talk about that, the transition to creating the third single now, Monster Machine, what do you feel personally has been a very big challenge getting this song out there?
Oh man, there's been some behind the scenes challenges which we shan't discuss. But I feel like, what I've learned in life is anything that's really good or important for me comes with like a buttload of obstacles, right? So I don't like to look at it. I know that if those are there, then it's there for a reason. The other thing on a really larger scale is I get a lot of support as an actress. For that, I'm like super, super thankful. And then there's people who are like, I prefer music. Like, why doesn't she sing more? And I'm like, I can. If you stream it more and if you support this more and if you don't just listen to my film song sung by someone else. Like, if you like my music, like, help it work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just said it. I was just like, I don't know how to say that, but I just said it. Yeah, that's the big challenge because cinema is a huge machine. And this tiny monster machine has to like stand up. It's David and Goliath,
Right. Right.
for me.
Yes. Yeah.
But I also think I'm in a great space where independent music is like so amazing today. But then independent music space looks at me as an actress. So I'm always like in between. But you know what? I'm kind of like a Twilight Zone weird realm walker. So it's perfectly natural that I would be here.
Absolutely. But also, when you were talking about the independent music scene doing so well, it actually brings me to my next question. When we talk about the independent music scene in India, right? Of course, there's been a massive shift with the kind of music labels that have been coming into support, and we've had studios, allowing a lot of people to collaborate. So, if you were to today talk about where you see the music scene over the next couple of years, what would Shruti Haasan say?
No, I mean, I'm not like I can't forecast, but like, I feel like I'm working with AWOL, which like promotes artists from day one and they like build with you.
Right.
And that's the kind of setup that works for me. And there are different setups like a Universal or a Sony that works for somebody else. And I think that's when you know that a business is moving towards the direction of appeasing more of its creators and then creating opportunities to create new audience fan bases and stuff like that. So it's just like, it's in a good space. Yeah.
Fantastic. So when you're talking...
It's not someone going, very nice, but Hindi mein gao, Tamil la padunga. And I was like, I will, but just like let me do what I love.
Yeah. And I think that's a difficult space to be in, but somewhere do you feel that because you are Shruti Haasan, you're able to navigate that a little better?
I don't know if I'm navigating it. I'm just doing it.
Okay.
And I also think that we're like in a phase which I really love, where everyone is culturally strong with their identity now. And I say, yeah, now Tamil ponnu, like I love that. But I get like, but why are you writing in English? And like
Right.
why aren't you doing like
You talk so much about Tamil.
yeah. But the problem is I went to an English medium school. I was listening to English music along with MSV and Ilaiyaraaja sir and A.R. Rahman sir. But I was also listening to Nirvana and Tori Amos, and those are the people who inspired me to write this way.
Right.
So why would I be inauthentic?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And there's a whole bunch of us that are kind of in between us.
All right. So when we're talking about the in-betweens, I think a lot of the questions that are coming from me today come from where you are, ending your answers. When we're talking about being in that in-between space, right? We see you, shuffle effortlessly between multiple roles. In the next, maybe, say 2 years, I know that you didn't want to forecast, but will we be seeing a lot more of Shruti creating music, or will we be seeing her more on screen?
Number one, I hope we don't have a war.
Yeah.
I hope we don't have another pandemic, and then we'll figure the rest. It's such a weird time.
Yeah.
Like
the climate is such that we will not be able to say that.
It's such a weird time.
But heart of hearts, if you had to pick one, would Shruti be a musician or would Shruti be an actor?
Oh God, it's like it's two ventricles of the same heart. Like, is that biologically right? I don't know. But anyway, it's too much of the same thing now. After all these years,
Okay.
they feed different things inside of me, and I can't pick. It's like telling a mom to choose her kids.
All right. And speaking of feeding, coming back to talking about Monster Machine, what has Shruti fed into Monster Machine that is uniquely yours? Of course, the track is yours. It's, through and through, it's your baby. But if that one element that you had to say, okay, this Monster Machine is through and through Shruti because of this, what would that be?
Faith in celebrating identity.
Beautiful. All right, so the song is going to come out on the 26th, and you're going to be listening to Monster Machine across different platforms. But before we let the gorgeous Shruti go, we quickly want to play a game of rapid fire.
Yeah.
I will keep it very, very simple.
Okay.
And let's see how it's going to go. Okay, so the first question in the rapid fire series that we have for Shruti is your personal favorite single.
Of all time.
Of all time.
Jeez. Single or album or
Okay, I will say song, or if you want to pick like an independent
I mean, I'm
song.
like a huge fan of the Beatles. But I don't know, that's really bad, man. I don't know.
Okay, if you had to pick like your top 2 maybe albums or artists, let's go with that.
The Beatles and Tori Amos.
Fantastic. Okay, 3 things that make you a true Chennai Vasi.
There's just a grit of being. Like, it's like, there's just we have something figured out. I don't know what.
It's wired in our DNA
when
when you're...
something, and we can spot, first of all, we can spot each other. But like, there's some sort of, it must be in the Perangayam. I don't know what it is, but there's something like really tough about us.
Absolutely. And I think that...
Men, women, kids. There's a silent resilience
that always shines through, and you can identify with one another and say, what, you're Tamil, I'm Tamil, and you're Chennai, I'm
not
Chennai.
Not to be like jingoistic, but you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it makes you feel very proud, right? When you say I'm a Chennai Vasi or I'm a Chennai Ponnu. I think that feeling always is there. Yeah. All right.
Especially when people are like, Chennai matlab idli dosa sambar, and I was like, okay, let's go.
Let's move on past
that.
No,
you sit down and I'm going to school you for a second.
Okay, if you want to get schooled by Shruti Haasan, then you will keep in mind not to say that Chennai is all about idli, dosa and sambar. Having said...
Not even sambar, sambar.
Sambar.
Yeah.
That's not how it's pronounced, guys. It's sambar, okay? Sambar. Like from the south, that's how we say it. You have to get your tongue rolling. Having taken that quick lesson, we're going to move on to the next question. If they made a movie on Shruti Haasan, what would it be called?
Catch me if you can.
But
in fact, that's a lyric in my song.
Okay.
Just catch me if you can.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And I know that you're not very philosophical in terms of the fact that you don't want to forecast or things like that. But looking back at life, do you have any regrets?
Yeah.
You
it's always in the form of someone else.
That's the most honest answer that you
I have no
expect.
regrets with me.
Huh.
I mean, of course, when I regret something, I fix it immediately. Like, oh, I shouldn't have been so insensitive or immature or whatever. Then I fix it. But அவங்கள பத்தி என்ன பண்றது?
நம்ம என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? அது வந்து ஒண்ணும் பண்ண முடியாத case தான்.
God bless. Bye. Yeah.
All right. A quote that is very personal, very deep, and something that you live by. You believe that this is my life mantra. This is what works for me.
Actually, my dad told me this when I was very young, and I was like, yeah, no pain, no gain. It's like boring, but it's like the things that matter require sweat and hard work and muscle cramps and anxiety and all of the good stuff. But yeah, I think it's about transferring that pain into a discipline and like making it work. I also love this quote, and I've said it all day today, which is, we are the granddaughters of the witches you couldn't burn.
That is the most powerful statement I think a lot of people, especially given in today's climate, that we need to remember, because I think it's also very reflective of Monster Machine.
Yeah.
And I think it's also very important for us to always remember that there are so many things that we can set our minds to do if we just believe hard in ourselves. And I think thank you so much for reiterating that and putting it out there, because more women, more people need to know that.
The more you do something different as a woman or a man or whatever, the more you do something different, the more people are going to question you and make you feel like you're doing something wrong. It's almost like that is the barometer to know you're doing it right. So all of these women were called witches. That's why I love that history, because I see all these women who were misunderstood. Yeah.
And we need to change that misunderstanding. So we're going to move on to 2 more questions.
Yeah.
A compliment you cherish.
Someone once told me, it was like really weird, but someone once told me that it was not like, oh, you're beautiful, you're funny, or what. Someone just said that, I'm so glad that you exist. Like it's really special to me that you exist. And I said, wow, that's just so many permutations and combinations could have happened for me not to exist. And they meant it so genuinely. They were like, I'm so glad you exist. Like, it wasn't even like, oh, I love you. It was like very genuine. Like, I'm so glad you exist. Like, in my life, in the world, what if I... And I was like, that is like the most beautiful thing I've heard.
I think that
And I got that from like one of my best friends. And I was just like, it was it's the best thing someone has said to me.
I think that also, stems from the fact that it's not about what we're contributing or anything of that. Somebody's just happy knowing that you're there and, your presence makes a lot of difference.
So it's not like all these other things.
Yeah.
It's because that's where it starts, right? If you exist in a way that makes a difference to even like your friend, then you're on the first few steps to getting stuff right.
Beautiful. All right. 3 songs on loop currently in Shruti Haasan's playlist.
Spirit Box. I just shared it yesterday. Which song? It's like a metal song. And there's this song which is so not my style. And I heard it on Instagram because of bloody like the scrolling. Sorry, pardon my French. You know that song called Sweat by Tyler? It's just, I don't know why. I was in the kitchen, I was like, make me sweat, make me lighter. And I was like, what am I singing? Why? Then I was like, no, it's a proper earworm.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do like the way she dances, so I was like, credit. I don't like the song, but I keep singing it. The 3rd song is, what have I been listening to, Cows? We always listen to Russ Million's Body. Yeah. That's like always. It's our hype song.
Hype song. Yeah. We all have that one hype song that gets us going, irrespective of...
Body, your D-shaped black cooler. Yeah, I'm like, that's me. That's me. That's my hype song.
Fantastic. All right, so that was our very quick rapid fire with the one and only Shruti Haasan. We are here at the studios to celebrate the release of her brand new single, which is called Monster Machine. And she says it's all about celebrating the dark femininity. And coming from you, I think we are really looking forward to a banger of a track. So what is it that you would like to tell my listeners? And do you want to give us a tiny sneak peek by...
No, I want you to listen to it because the acoustics here are wonderful, but no, because it's not like it's not a song I feel like singing. Like, no offense.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
So I want you to enjoy the song, please, because I think that it's like something that I really enjoyed doing. So I want people to love it.
So there you heard it right from Shruti Haasan. She's really enjoyed making this track. It's called Monster Machine. It's releasing on the 26th, and of course, you will listen to it on 94.3 Radio 1.